Alright, it's a very quiet night in Asheville, North Carolina. And we're going to be flying to, of all places, Boston. So, we're going to be going on runway 35 at 350. It's not a long flight. It's not going to be a terribly long flight. About an hour to 45 minutes. We'll be in Boston. Alright, let's get inside the cockpit. And we are definitely cold and dark. Okay. Let's go and get some power going here. And drop our battery guard. And we always go straight for the IRSs. Turn them to nav. Go ahead and drop down the window heat. Let's kind of heat the windows up because it's nippy. It's not really cold, but it's nippy out here tonight. And see, am I satisfied with the lights? Let's do a dim. There we go. And let's kick the APU on. Alright, we'll get it started. And position lights to steady, anti-collision, wing, and wheel wells all on.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Right. And we're going to go ahead and put in our IRS information here. Pull from the GPS. Bam, got colors. And let's go to route and request our flight plan, which we've already downloaded it so that it will be available for us. Once again, we're heading to Boston from Asheville, North Carolina. Right, here we go. We're departing out on 35 on AVL 7. And for our arrival, we'll be coming in on 04 right. On the Roebuck 3 arrival, so 04 right. Roebuck 3 JFK. And our transition is Goshi for this. Okay. Discontinuity I see there. I'm going to put murky up here above vector because unless they make me, we'll see if they even bother with a vector. Brian, can you get our takeoff clearance? Correction. Would you please get our IFR clearance?
I'll contact ground for our IFR clearance.
Asheville ground, Allegiant 218. We'd like to receive our IFR clearance. We have Foxtrot. Clearance on request.
Flight directors and auto throttle arm. Auto throttle is active. For airside services.
Legion 218, Asheville ground, cleared to Boston. Radar vectors murky, then as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 35010 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.8, squawk 3424. Expect runway 35.
I don't know why the jetway's not working. It could be the parking gate, the gate space we're in.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
And QNH, I think is going to be around 3007. I see 3009. And anti-skid needs to be set to RTO. We're going to go ahead and leave it there. And our transition altitude, they'll let us know in a moment, is going to be 5,000. Okay. Cutting on the APU because we need to be on APU power anyway, and that way I can go ahead and disconnect from ground power. Must automatically, that's a Zibo thing, but it automatically disconnects.
Is mid-ramp with information Lima, ready to taxi to depart southeast, 5,500. Asheville ground, Western 070.
And I've put the smoking and seatbelt signs on auto, which smoking can stay on the on there. But seatbelts I put to auto so that flight crew can take care of that. And we're gonna switch over also to our flight crew is a little bit late today, but let's go ahead and invite them.
Ground flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Alright, we're at 350, 5,000. We're already squawking.
Boarding is now complete. Flight attendants prepare the cabins. Verify arm door, standby for all call.
And TCAS is active.
Alright, everyone's strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Alright, now that all of that's done, we are going to go take care of our takeoff, preliminary takeoff info. Reserves are 2.4. And let's go and load everything else. N1 limit and takeoff. Alright, so flaps, we're going out on 10 flaps today. So 10 flaps. Center of gravity for takeoff is 28. Next page. Our runway winds are 357 at 6. So from 357, 6 knots. Our flex temp is a little bit freaky, 26.
Asheville ground, this is November 612, Juliet Papa, looking to taxi for parking. Asheville ground, can we have taxi at this?
612 Juliet Papa, contact ramp on 119.909 for taxi services.
National Ground, Castle 589. Looking for IFR clearance to 2 November Charlie 0.
Alright, so our V2 is 148. Rotates 146. So 148. I'm not using what I've been given from my runway analysis because it can't be right. It gave me a flex temp of 26. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. And I think that's suicide. So we're not using that. Okay. Brian, you're in charge of all comms.
I am in charge now, Steve.
Would you please get our pushback and start clearance?
I'll request pushback and start clearance now.
Allegiant 218 requesting clearance for pushback and start.
Gosh, this is why I play more in the jungle. I forgot. Forgot I don't have Jing playing good yet.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
I really did want to go out on the MD-82, but I'm still getting through the learning curve of some of the ins and outs of using it, so we're not going out on it tonight. I mean, no, I don't mind you learning with me, but it's kind of ugly at times with that.
Always put your own mask on first, and then help others near you.
A life vest is located under the seat. Look for 15 seconds stop. Does she have any magical defense?
Okay. All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
What are you doing here?
We're flying into Boston today. It's kind of more of a custom. Is it kind of, yeah, I think it is. I think it is a custom airport. It is. That one, it came off of the Xplane Xplane forum, and it was free. I think it
Still
actually was
connected
free.
and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
I'm going for engine 2 start. Remember, we're waiting for an N2 of about 25. Alright, we're going to go for start on engine 1. We're looking for 25, 25, 25.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
It's got us a 325 trim. Hold on. My fault. And for flaps here, we're looking for 10. And by the way, we do need center pumps. We do got some fuel. 10.
I hate Morgan early game. It sucks.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Alright. Yaw damper is now on. Engines are now active and APU is off. Taxi light is on. And APU bleed is off. Packs are set to auto and isolation valve to auto. Probes are on. And position light is set to strobe. Checklist complete there. Brian, would you get our taxi clearance to runway 35?
I'll get our taxi clearance to runway 35.
Asheville ground, Allegiant 218, ready to taxi. We have Foxtrot.
Allegiant 218, taxi to runway 35 via Charlie Alpha Alpha 1.
Got it.
Runway 35, Charlie Alpha Alpha 1, Allegiant 218.
Charlie Alpha Alpha 1. Okay. Anyway, I really wanted to fly the MD-82 for Allegiant, but having some learning curve issues.
Welcome everyone on board on behalf of Allegiant Air, Captain Steve Good, First Officer Brian Song, and the entire crew on this flight to Boston. We are currently pushing back from Asheville. Our flight number is 218, and we expect to be in the air for approximately 1 hour and 55 minutes. Now, please pay attention to the following safety information. To ensure your safety, please sit back in your seat with your seatbelt fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, simply lift the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated, as we may experience turbulence. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop two exits at the front, two over the wings, and one at the rear of the aircraft. Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit, which may be behind you. In the unlikely event of an evacuation, please
All right.
take your luggage aboard. Your safety is our priority. As mentioned,
Flaps
we
are
have
set to
exits
10.
at the front, over the wings, and at the rear.
Our
To reach them,
anti-skid
follow
is to
the illuminated
RTO.
signs and move quickly but calmly. Please ensure your seat belts
Landing
and
lights
tray
are
tables
active.
in their upright positions, and that your seat belts are fastened.
Taxi light is off,
Also,
and
if you have a
runway
power
lights
bank or any
are
electronic
off.
device that becomes unusually warm, emits smoke, or shows signs of damage, please inform a member of the crew immediately.
Brian,
If any electronic
would you
device falls
do
between the
our
seats,
takeoff
please
brief?
notify us so we can safely retrieve it. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
That's all you got for me.
We'll be departing from runway 35. We'll follow the filed IFR flight plan with an initial climb clearance to 5,000, expecting flight level 350 10 minutes after departure. Weather at departure shows clear skies and no significant weather expected en route. In the event of an engine failure below 400, we'll continue straight ahead and follow ATC instructions. Above 400, we'll follow the engine out SID procedure, climbing to 3,000 before turning back. For any abnormalities or emergencies before V1, we'll reject the takeoff and apply maximum braking. After V1, we'll continue the takeoff, handle the emergency, and communicate with ATC. We've been cleared as filed. Squawk code is 3424 and departure frequency will be 125.8. We're configured for takeoff with flaps 5. V1 is 142 knots. VR is 147 knots and V2 is 152 knots. We'll climb out at V2 plus 10 knots. I think we're ready to go, Captain.
Sounds good, Brian. The only change I would make in your brief is that we're going to go out at flaps 10, or flaps 10, not flap 5s, but flaps 10 for takeoff. Other than that, everything sounds good.
Got it, Steve. We'll use flaps 10 for takeoff.
Okay. Brian, it's okay to go ahead and ask for our takeoff clearance.
Steve, we need to be holding short of runway 35 before requesting takeoff clearance.
Brian, we're holding short now of runway 35, ready for takeoff.
I'll request takeoff clearance now.
Asheville Tower, Allegiant 218, holding short of runway 35, ready to depart.
Allegiant 218, Asheville Tower, runway 35, wind 340 at 6. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Asheville Tower, Delta 377, short final, RS35.
All right, let's go.
Runway 35, runway heading, cleared for takeoff. Allegiant 218.
I'm not even old, do I? I hit someone. It's not who I ulted.
All right, N1. Forward pressure on yoke. And keep it centered on the windshield wiper there.
80 knots.
80 knots.
V1 rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate.
And gear up. We've just gone to flaps 5.
1000.
Gear is off. And autopilot is engaged. Alright, we're our first waypoint. We're heading to our first waypoint, which is Murky. We're at 4,000.
1,000 to go.
And anti-skid is off, and our flaps are retracted, and we're going to our transition altitude, our climb and maintain altitude.
A couple of miles south, inbound for the option touch and go. Western 070.
Western 070, Asheville Tower, runway 35, cleared for the option.
Straight in approach, runway 35, Western 070. Western 070.
Currently at 5,000. We're following our departure out, our to Murky, and from Murky, we'll be on our way. We're 675 miles from Boston. Rock and roll bland, everybody's playing. Dun, dun, dun. Right, we're 7 minutes in right now from takeoff, and we're about to make our turn from Murky on to our climb. We'll be climbing for the next 30,000 feet. I don't like this. We're at 5,000 on our transition, and we're in the mountains. Elevation here is about 2,200, so that would put us roughly at 2,500. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's the one thing about flying at night. Can't see jack squat. Okay, but we're so we're gonna start our climb to 350. Got a little activity in the sky here. It's a United Airlines flight at 210 right there. Probably a few more. Help with the lighting for our passengers, put them on cruise and medium,
Dear
white
guests,
medium.
we are now above 10,000 feet and you may now use your electronic devices. The lavatories are available and cabin service will begin shortly.
Landing
Thank
lights
you for
are
your
off
attention.
at 10,000. And I'm turning the wheel well light off. I don't need it anymore. Anyway, I was trying to start a flight in the MD-82. I just did get the MD-82 professional by help me out here. What's the name of the company that makes the model that I was flying? Anyway, Q8 Pilot had reviewed it maybe about a year ago, and it seems like an excellent plane, but I have a little bit of a learning curve. Just, you know how you do when you get in a new plane, and you kind of flounder for a bit, and that's where I am right now. But I'm looking forward to flying it on the regional flights, more for Allegiant. Probably some Delta, I think, uses a modified version of it, the 717. They have the largest number of 717s in their fleet in the world. I think only rivaled by maybe Hawaiian Airlines. But they, I think they just saw an opportunity to take a plane that's very easy to work on, and they have plenty of spare parts, and have kept it in service. I always wondered why they let the 717s hang around, but there's a lot of similarities between the 717 and the MD-90. I mean, they're really similar. Very, look, clear skies tonight. It's real good.
Zulu Bravo 738, Asheville Regal Tower. Wind 350 at 6 knots. Active arrival runway 35. Parking gate 4 reserved.
Slight left turn here, and we'll continue to climb. And we'll go to standard. I have it set so when I hit standard here, it syncs with my co-pilot and with my backup. So good looking night tonight. We're about 650 miles from Boston. as soon as we get to cruise altitude, I will actually do a speed intervention and up our speed. Probably we'll probably fly most of the way at about Mach 0.80, maybe 81.
National Tower, Western 070 is right base for runway 35.
Western 070, runway 35, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option. Runway 35, Western 070. National Tower, Western 070 is staying close traffic for runway 35.
The nice moon and way out there in front of us, like half moon. Right, we're at 230. Just a little bit more here. We'll get up to 350, and then we'll do a speed intervention. Alright, we're about 240, climbing to 350. Our distance to Boston is about 633 miles, nautical miles. Pretty straight shot. I think even our approach coming in is pretty straight. Like we make a slight right, get lined up for final. And as soon as we get up to our cruise altitude, I will do a speed intervention and up the speed to about Mach 0.80. That'll put us at about the equivalent of, I don't know, 560 miles per hour if you were on land. Looks like we're heading to the moon. That looks real good.
National Tower, are we clear to contact departure? Delta 53070. Contact departure. Delta 53070.
Cessna 070, negative, contact departure on 125.8 for flight following.
I am not looking for flight following. I'm in the Asheville area. Delta 53070.
Alright, we only took off, by the way, 18 minutes ago. But we're about 610 miles from Boston. No. I think I need a cup of coffee pretty bad.
Sure thing, Captain. I'll get you a cup of coffee right away.
So really nice winds tonight. Nice, we got some clear skies and nice winds. Alright, we're at 3, we're at about nearing 310, 4,000 more, we'll be at cruise altitude. Our seat belts are set to auto, I believe. So, it'll be controlled by my cabin crew. And what it looks like back in the cabin now is a little bit dimmer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached cruising altitude. My colleagues and I will begin our snack and drink service shortly. We have some delicious options available, including our savory pretzel bites and refreshing beverages. After the service, we will also have articles from the Allegiant Air Shop available for purchase. Thank you for your attention.
Where our speed had diminished greatly, that's kind of alarming. I'm pushing it up to 8.80, Mach 0.80. Ron, what is our current speed in both knots and miles per hour?
Steve, our current speed is 403 knots, which is approximately 464 miles per hour.
That's awfully slow. I just noticed that our speed had diminished a little bit, and it's just out of the ordinary, not normal. And that our VNAV had kicked off, and it was at around Mach 0.46. That's strange. Anyway, I think we're fine now. I went ahead and went back to a speed intervention, made sure VNAV was back on, and I put it up to Mach 0.80, and that's where we'll stay. I may go ahead and let's knock it up one more, Mach 0.81.
on 125.8, says of 53070. Asheville Tower, 5702, we are now ready to exit the hold. We are ready to exit the hold at Newton.
Still, that was alarming. So we're fine now. Speed-wise, we're fine, but that was strange when I reached cruise altitude. For it to have slowed down, that makes no sense. But alright, so since we're at cruise altitude now, let's look. So we're going to be going in at flaps 40 at 146 knots. ILS frequency is 110.30 and 035 are the course headings. So 110, 30. And we'll go to forecast for our winds. See if it'll pull down our winds for us.
$1,000 to go.
And see. Yeah, good. We have winds.
Staying in the pattern, Western 070.
Western 070, runway 35, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option for runway 35, Western 070. Western 070 is remaining in the pattern.
Uh, 30.12 is our arrival winds, our arrival QNH. Okay, the winds really aren't that bad tonight. I noticed, yeah, winds are really not. Brian, what's our current speed now, both in knots and miles per hour?
Steve, our current speed is 474 knots, which is approximately 545 miles per hour.
Good. Okay, it's better. Okay. Alright, 540 miles out. And we're going to speed it up a little bit. By the way, the clouds, nighttime clouds, Xplane 12, they've nailed it. They do a great job with it, as opposed to Microsoft. I think their lighting on Microsoft a little bit less believable. The way they illuminate, they even like bring up the shadows a little bit, maybe in areas where there needs to be shadows, and so it just doesn't look as good. This here looks more authentic. Where I've got a time compressed right now just to speed up some of our cruise time. So we're basically at about a 2.5 times compression just to move along a little bit further. Set my heading bug. We're about to be over water for a little bit of this time, but we just ran out of center tank fuel. It's all right. Okay. We're 351 miles outside of Boston. Oh. I've taken off the time compression just to bought me just a little bit of time. If I can. Control T. There we go. Brian, do you want to brief our descent and approach to Boston?
We'll be arriving in Boston on runway 4 right using the ILS approach. We'll be flying the Roebuck 3 arrival. Transition level is 18,000 feet. After the star, we'll intercept the ILS to runway 4 right. Weather at arrival shows wind 010 at 16 knots, gusting 21, broken clouds at 900 feet, solid overcast at 1300 feet. In the event of a missed approach, we'll follow the published missed approach procedure. For any abnormalities, we'll communicate with ATC and execute a go-around or missed approach as needed. Squawk code remains 3424, and approach frequency will be 124.05. We'll configure for landing with flaps 30. Final approach speed will be 135 knots. I think we're ready for the arrival, Captain.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome, Steve.
All right. And we're 170 miles from top descent. So, okay. Last thing we need to check before we approach also is to just confirm our landing altitude, which is our elevation is 19 feet. 19 feet, meaning that our landing altitude is set to 0. We have to do it in increments of 50, so we'll just leave it at 0. So 19 feet. Longest runway at Boston is 10,000 feet. And you heard of the only concern, Brian, only concern I have is to monitor our visibility and our overcast ceiling.
Steve, monitoring visibility and ceiling isn't something I can handle. Let's keep an eye on the instruments and weather updates.
Zulu Bravo 738, Richmond Alpine Tower. Wind 352 at 14 knots. Active arrival runway 34. Parking gate B2 reserved.
Diamond 4 Papa Tango, contact departure. Bonanza 07 Foxtrot, contact departure.
Where's the departure of Bonanza 207 Foxtrot?
Alright. We have a very deliberate straight-in approach to runway 04 right, so that's going to be a pleasant. It's a nice, pleasant surprise. Just not a lot of transitioning and turning or going past the airport. We'll just go straight in. Let's review our transition and our approach altitudes. So as we start going down, it says here 350 to 230, hard stop at 17,000, hard stop at 16,000. We will continue. It looks like we have a vector at Goshi. But 3,000 is going to be our what we'll set to here. Go. And anti-skid at 2.
Verify X-ray Sierra, welcome to Richmond. Contact ground on 121.9er.
1.9er, November 45 X-ray Sierra. Bubble using clouds break gas.
Color clearance, Echo 108, Papa Tango, ready for arrival clearance to Orange County.
When we get to the 200 mark, which is about 75 miles out, I will take off the speed intervention and we'll count it down to top of descent from there, which would be about 50 miles. I noticed we passed right over JFK. Right, I'm taking off speed intervention. Okay. And VNav's got it. Seat belts. It's been very quiet, but we're about another 80 miles from top of descent. When we hit 50 miles from top descent, it will give us the option of descend now, but I may wait.
Skyhawk 8, Papa Tango, readback correct.
Cargo clearance, Skyhawk 108 Papa Tango, ready for IFR clearance to Stewart. 108 Papa Tango, keep to Stewart, yeah, radar vectors to Squawka 10 at 5, climb, maintain 4,000, expect 6,010 meters after departure, departure frequency 119 at 42, squawk 5 and 4, 556.
Brian, I would like to get clearance to begin our descent on the Roebuck 3 arrival.
Steve, we need to contact Boston Center for descent clearance.
Allegiant 218 is at 320, requesting clearance to descend on the Roebuck 3 arrival.
Allegiant 218, descend and maintain 32,000. Cleared Roebuck 3 arrival.
From the flight deck, we're about to begin our descent. Please return your seats and fasten your seatbelts for the remainder of the flight. It's been our pleasure to have you on board today. I hope you enjoyed the flight.
Ready for Ivan, Dina, for Dublin.
Alright, we're at 330 descending on the Roebuck 3 arrival for Boston. Anticipating runway 04 right. Elevation at the airport is 19 feet. Frequency's already been entered, and we'll just begin a slow and steady descent. kind of a slow and steady descent. We're at 300, descending into Boston, and we are 139 miles outside of Boston. It will be a straight in approach. Brian, will you do the approach briefing, please?
We'll be arriving in Boston on runway 4 right using the ILS approach. We'll be flying the Roebuck 3 arrival. Transition level is 18,000 feet. After the star, we'll intercept the ILS to runway 4 right. Weather at arrival shows winds 020 at 15 knots. Solid overcast at 700 feet. In the event of a missed approach, we'll follow the published missed approach procedure. For any abnormalities, we'll communicate with ATC and execute a go-around or missed approach as needed. Squawk code remains 3424, and approach frequency will be 128.125. We'll configure for landing with flaps 30. Final approach speed will be 135 knots. I think we're ready for the arrival, Captain.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome, Steve.
So the approach briefing came from Say Intentions. So choose your co-pilot, choose your pilot monitoring, and I use Brian. Usually I like working with him, and they now will do, you can get a takeoff, you can do your takeoff briefing and your approach briefing on every flight. So I do it on every flight. Let him actually brief, to articulate the brief, so I can think through all the things we're doing. It's kind of a neat feature of Say Intentions. If you have not tried Say Intentions, I think it would be worth it just to try it and see if you like it. But I really do like it. Slight right coming up here, and all right, we're at FEX. FEX has a light level hard stop of 230, and that's right where we are. We'll see if it holds us up there or if we keep going. Next hard stop is 17,000. Boston. I've flown into Boston before. It was the only flight I've ever flown with my wife where she flew with me on a training trip, business trip, but it's for training. And I still got the scars on my arm from that one, which she held on tight. She's not a big fan of flying. My personal flying comes in spurts, so my commercial flying does. I guess I'll do about.
Radar contact 7 east of Tweed, New Haven Airport at flight level 220. New Haven altimeter 3001. Turn right heading 230 vectors to Murky. Then it's filed.
Hold on, man. Say again, please. 55 room. Clear to Rochester. Vehicle Kuwait. And then it's filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Departure will be on 119.2. Squawk 6352. Expect runway 10. 55 Romeo.
Allegiant 218, please expedite your climb to flight level 320.
Allegiant 218, unable. Currently, we are descending on the Roebuck 3 arrival for Boston.
Allegiant 218, roger. Maintain Roebuck 3 arrival. Climb and maintain flight level 320.
He's a little bit confused. Allegiant 218, unable. Our next altitude, we are currently descending to 210 for Ruiz, and then we will be descending to 17,000 for Amlin.
Allegiant 218, expect the Roebuck 3 arrival. I'll have you descending in just a minute. Allegiant 218, maintain 21,000 for Ruiz, then descend to 17,000 for Amlin.
Yeah, so it's not perfect. I would say this, it gets confused a lot less than...
Allegiant 218, descend via Roebuck 3 for the ILS runway 4 right approach into Boston, via Gosh altimeter 3003.
Okay. Descending on Roebuck 3 for Boston, altimeter 3003, Allegiant 218.
Expect the ILS runway 4 right approach into Boston via Gosh.
Expecting runway 04 right into Boston, Allegiant 218. It must be busy down there. Alright, we are 78 miles out. We're currently on a hard hold at 230, and then we'll, as soon as we get through this hard hold, which is about 30 seconds, we will descend to 17,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have begun our approach to Boston. At this time, we kindly ask everyone to return to their seats, stow your tray tables, and fasten your seatbelts. Please note that the lavatories are no longer available for use. Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, and let's have Brian. I'm just going to show you something. This is say intentions specific. So let's just say you have say intentions and you want your pilot monitoring to do a briefing for you as you approach. So let's get him to do it for us. Brian, would you brief the approach into Boston for runway 04 right?
We'll be arriving in Boston on runway 4 right using the ILS approach. We'll be flying the Roebuck 3 arrival. Transition level is 18,000 feet. After the star, we'll intercept the ILS to runway 4 right. Weather at arrival shows winds 020 at 15 knots. Solid overcast at 700 feet. In the event of a missed approach, we'll follow the published missed approach procedure. For any abnormalities, we'll communicate with ATC and execute a go-around or missed approach as needed. Squawk code remains 3424, and approach frequency will be 128.125. We'll configure for landing with flaps 30. Final approach speed will be 135 knots. Once on the ground, we'll be taxiing to gate Terminal E Gate 5. I think we're ready for the arrival, Captain.
Great. You have any concerns, Brian?
No concerns, Steve. We're on track for the ILS approach to runway 4 right at Boston.
So the only concern is some overcast visibility at 700 feet as we approach. That's it. It's primary. For me, that's it. And altimeter going off of standard to our normal there. Altimeter is 3003. We already have our anti-skid set to 2 for landing. Speed brakes are armed, and we'll begin our flaps integration as we slow down. We've got a slight left turn at Judy coming up to place us on course for final. Course directors are both set to 035 for a final approach, and our frequency is set to 110.30 for our ILS approach. remember when I first started doing ILS approaches with a 737, and I would forget to set my course directors for the runway, and I remember I didn't know what was wrong. Every time I started the approach and I captured the localizer, I'd start turning. And then whatever direction the course director was.
Providence approach on 123.675.
Brian, are you going to answer?
Steve, we're currently tuned to Providence approach on 123.675.
Allegiant 218, Providence approach. We are on final for runway 04 right.
Allegiant 218, Providence approach. Good evening, Boston, altimeter 3006.
Got it. And we are about 42 miles outside, 42 miles from 04 right. And landing lights are coming on.
Allegiant 218, Providence approach, descend and maintain 3000.
Descending and maintaining 3000, Allegiant 218.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into Boston. At this time, we kindly ask you to turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Please ensure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in their full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. Our today's gate is Terminal E Gate 5. Thank you for your cooperation, and we look forward to welcoming you to Boston shortly. Crew, please check that everyone is seated and has fastened their seat belts.
Alright, we're 32 miles out. We're at 8,700 on a slow descent. At about 1,400 feet per minute descent rate. We're descending to 3,000, and when we get to 3,000 and get slowed down, we'll capture the localizer and for final. Flaps 1. We're at flaps 5. Flaps 5. Heading bug.
Allegiant 218, direct Gosh. Cleared for the ILS runway 4 right approach, Gosh transition.
Cleared Gosh, Allegiant 218. I'm not sure why he told me that, but we're heading to Gosh now. The approach frequency ILS is active. We're at 4,000. We'll be maintaining 3,000. We're 16 miles out from 04 right, Boston Logan. And there's that weather.
Allegiant 218, contact Boston Tower on 128.8 when established.
Brian, you gonna answer that?
Steve, we're cleared to contact Boston Tower on 128.8, when established.
Providence approach, Allegiant 218. Switch to Boston Tower on 128.8 once established.
We're currently at flaps full.
Boston Tower, Allegiant 218, evening. We're established on the ILS for runway 4 right approach. Boston Tower, Allegiant 218, evening. We're established on the ILS for runway 4 right approach.
The ILS runway 4 right approach. Report runway in sight.
Allegiant 218, Boston Tower, roger. Continue approach, runway 4 right.
Expecting ILS runway 4 right approach. We'll report runway in sight. Allegiant 218.
Tango Whiskey, welcome to Boston. Contact ground on 121.75.
Tango Whiskey, contact ground
And we have captured
2500.
gear down.
Legion 218, winds 36015, runway 4 right, cleared to land.
And monitoring very closely for wind shear, Brian.
Got it, Steve. Let's keep an eye on the instruments and be ready for any adjustments needed.
As you see, we can't see, we have no visibility at this point. We are, we've captured the localizer. We're currently at 2,000 feet and descending. We're at 147 knots. And watching for the runway. We may not see it until about 700 feet. Our decision height is 300 feet. Normally I would take control of the throttle at 1,000, and but with the weather and the conditions, I'm using auto land. I'm managing with auto land, and I'm going to leave on my auto throttle and allow my speed to be handled by auto throttle most, if not all, of the way in. Goodness gracious. Right, Brian, I've got runway in sight. Brian, I have runway in sight.
Roger, Steve. I'll notify the tower.
Thousand feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude 7.
Okay, we're at full flaps right now. 147 knots coming into Boston. My throttle.
300.
Light slow. Light slow. Light slow.
200.
Light slow.
Oh my gosh, this is
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Legion 218, welcome to Boston. Contact ground on 121.75.
I had a good turn off on that. I had a really good, that was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boston. Did you know that Boston is home to the oldest public park in the United States, Boston Common, established in 1634? It's a great place to explore and enjoy some fresh air. Thank you for flying with the Legion Air. Please remain seated until we reach the final parking position. On behalf of Captain Steve Good, First Officer Brian Song, and the entire crew, we wish you a pleasant stay in Boston. The local time here is 1:48 in the morning. If you have a connecting flight, please take note of the following. Flight 233 to Orlando, departing at 6:30 at Gate 22, and Flight 450 to Fort Lauderdale, departing at 7:15 at Gate 25. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boston. Did you know that Boston is home to the oldest public park in the United States, Boston Common, established in 1634? It's a great place to explore and enjoy some fresh air. Thank you for flying with the Legion Air. Please remain seated until we reach the final parking position. On behalf of Captain Steve Good, First Officer Brian Song, and the entire crew, we wish you a pleasant stay in Boston. The local time here is 1:48 in the morning. If you have a connecting flight, please take note of the following. Flight 233 to
Clear left, clear right.
departing at 6:30 at Gate 22, and Flight 450 to Fort Lauderdale, departing at 7:15 at Gate 25.
It's just how much I love tanks, and how I love how balanced they are, and how great they are, and how they aren't like overpowered at all.
Got turned around there for a minute on one of my turns coming in.
Don't have to say that again, please.
Boston Logan. Clear left, clear right. Okay. I think this airport was when I got, I mean, any custom scenery came from the forum. I think it was free. I think actually it was free.
I literally hit him in the head. I'm sorry.
All right. First things first, we're gonna knock that brake on, go to ground services,
So why do we have 6 people?
GPU, and chocks. Right. Now I'm gonna take down my fuel. And take down the lights.
Contact departure.
Zulu Sierra request flight following the KBHB.
Zulu Sierra flight following is on request. Squawk 5457, then ident.
Squawk 5457, then ident.
Okay. And we're going to close out the flight, and then I'm going to do a replay because that was a rainy landing. That was pretty bad. Okay. That actually was a pretty kind of like a harder. We landed at about 600 feet per minute, 660 feet per minute on that. So it was do replay.
Where's the sniper? So I'm keeping them pinned down on you right now.
That actually was a pretty
Allegiant 218, wind 010 at 15, runway 4 right, cleared to land.
Yeah, like I said, I'm fairly certain this is the airport straight off of the Xplane Forum. So this scenery was, I think, free. Get a passenger's perspective. Alright, one last one before we go. And there you have it. Alright. I hope everyone has a good night or good morning wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next flight. Happy travels.